Okay, I think I might be back. Maybe. Okay, cool. How far did I get, Chariot? I think I was still in the middle of reading your stuff out. If I'm talking about Gmod, also sometimes I feel like the text I include doesn't really feel like a part of the image, but rather I just stamped on some words and called it a day. Right. Am I good to start looking through your stuff, Chariot? Am I still streaming through, or are any viewers still there? That's the important thing. Okay, cool. Right, I'm gonna pop open some of your images in Photoshop. Then we're gonna have a quick old look. Maybe close some of this stuff as well. I really like this because I remember back when you were working on this video, like you were like trying to come up with some ideas back in one of our discords that we're in, and yeah, it's just like a really nice piece of key art that you managed to find for Rogue, which, you know, this does like so much of the heavy lifting of this idea, which is great. Like maybe the only things I would probably say is that like where you got this IBM PC and PC Junior disc, like you could have almost changed that to like by ChariotRider or something. Like that would have been quite cool. Where defining roguelikes is as well, like maybe this might be based on the piece of key art that you, yeah, because I think this is from the game Rogue, innit? Overall, I really like this one. I think it has a bit of a, yeah, that would be the only thing that I would say as well is Rogue game, not Rogue games, Rogue game. Yeah, that's that by there. So like you could have almost had like defining roguelikes along the top and then that in the middle, which, like again with this, it's just purely about playing around with the elements that you have and just getting like a nicer layout essentially. So if I just cut out the key pieces by here. Maybe that in the middle. Or even maybe like, yeah, maybe it's just like this, maybe. And then I don't know, so sort of maybe in this empty space, we could have maybe made this image a little bit bigger, just so it's not like, you know, we do miss like a couple of pieces as a result, but you are filling up the empty space, which is mostly the issue with this. So stick a quick levels on this, just yeah, it's tricky, innit? Like, because a lot of this is just down to placement, you know, what looks good and stuff like that. And, you know, it might require you having to fiddle around with some of the images that you have in order to get them looking, you know, as good as possible. Like, you might want to recreate how these caves look and stuff like that, where you've, you know, deleted them away for, you know, this bit of text, or, you know, looking at this, you know, the epics released by here, you might want to, you know, stick some of the logo, like you might want to recreate some of the logos and stuff like that, like You know, if we stick a nice big red button by here, we can, you know, get rid of that. And so, like, you know, if we shrink this down, you know, a lot of these elements are going to get a little bit lost is the only thing, which, you know, you want to make your text a little bit larger as well to maybe compensate for that. And, you know, like with this, I quite like it because it's got, like, a sort of old, scratchy analog quality to it. You know, it's sort of kind of upscaled pixelation, which, you know, if you're creating new elements like this, you might want to find a way of emulating that, which, you know, you could do by adding not mosaic, noise. Yeah, add a little bit of noise to it, add a bit of a blur to it, you know, and it makes it look like it's you know, part of the same JPEG essentially. So yeah, I don't think there's really a lot that, like, this could be improved on, really. I think you know, it's got, the idea works essentially. It's just, you know, a little bit of the layout and stuff could, oh, God. A bit of the layout and stuff could be, you know, just improved a little bit just to make it, you know, stand out. Yeah, the ones I've sent in, that one was by far the best. Yeah. Maybe the Night in the Woods one, though, could, like, I think it's fine. Like, you know, when you scale it in and out, it's, you know, not too bad. You might want to maybe move the stuff in just a little bit closer together, just so it's not, like, totally floating out, but like with this one, I don't know, it's tricky to say. Like, you could, like, the font that you've used here does, you know, fit quite nicely with the Night in the Woods one, although, like, you could do little elements of, like, you know, bits of scratches and stuff coming off it, or even these little leaves that are part of the logo, you could, you know, incorporate into the bit at the top as well. You know, just give it that extra bit of oomph, essentially, to, you know, tie everything together a bit more. You know, the image itself that you've used is, the only thing is that I haven't really played a lot of Night in the Woods, so, like, I assume that this just must be a part of the game where, like, you know, the main character is, you know, trying to face off against, you know, like a shadow with them former selves, essentially, which is kind of what you're, you know, getting to in the video. So, I know, maybe this is a nice sellable thing for, like, I guess this is more sort of, like, aimed towards, I mean, it's the idea of this is it a video for people who haven't played Night in the Woods, or is it more for just, like, anyone, essentially? Like, if you haven't played it, or if you have played it, and you're just trying to, like, kind of get across an element that you found, like, really, you know, interesting about it. it's more a video for the people who have played it. Okay, so yeah, maybe kind of what you've gotten from here, and like, you know, this is obviously an iconic moment that happens in the game. Like, yeah, you can kind of get away with the sort of image that you've gone with here, which is cool. I mean, you know, you could even change it so like all the text is on this side and the little scenes on that side or whatever, but again, I don't think there's really much you could do to, you know, improve this. And I mean, I would even say that with this one as well, like, I would maybe just move where the text is, but like, other than that, it's a really nice piece of key art that you've chosen, and you know, maybe I would probably just change what I wouldn't even maybe change what the text is. I might just change what the text is to, like, you know, what it, you know, how to progress. Well, you know, it's a video about, you know, how progression in Downwell works and how that's compared to other roguelikes, I'm assuming. So you'd almost want to make it like how Downwell keeps you moving or something like that. And, you know, nice piece of key art because, yeah, they're constantly falling down a well. That is what the game is about, and that is literally what you're talking about, which is you are always constantly moving in Downwell, and you're constantly always moving through this roguelike, which compared to other stuff, you know, you might not have that. Which, I mean, maybe you could have had it so like the text is, maybe move these guys, like if we make a copy of this and just put some black by here, like so. Maybe have these guys like less of an important element and have it so like it almost looks like your guy is looking at the text. Except for a different room, I just chose making the thumbnail because I thought I had the best key out. Well, that's fair enough. I mean, it's always one of those things that like you want to go with the game that you're going to talk about the most, or like, you know, the one that's the most important to, you know, whatever your subject matter expert, whatever the subject matter is. But I'm guessing it's just kind of like, you know, Downwell was only one element of that, which you don't want to. And I guess maybe, like, if that was the case, there could be a way of, like, trying to combine multiple different roguelike stuff together, essentially. Like, you know, you could have it so you have Downwell, you have, you know, a couple other games that you're talking about, but you just show examples of how they all do their own different progression. Like, you know, in Spelunky you're going through doors, and in Downwell you're always constantly going down, and in Hades you're always constantly going up and stuff like that. You know, you could almost do it like a, like if we just quickly doodle something by here, like almost if you kind of had a compass, because, you know, that's always something that you have in a RPG game, and, you know, you have your needle by here, and then so you got Mr. Downwell always going down. You always have Mr. Hades going up, like that. And then, you know, Mr. Spelunky is always going through a door, and then, like, maybe another roguelike that you talk about, and then right in the middle you have the text, roguelike progression, which, you know, you could use the O of the needle to, you know, be the O in the text or something like that. And then that way you can, you know, cover a couple of different topics and still have them all fit in the same video that you're talking about, essentially. You know, it's and so with that, you would use the different key arts for the different things that you're talking about. And, you know, that then gets across the idea a little bit better. I mean, like I said, though, I don't mind what you have done here. It's just, you know, I would move some of the elements around a little bit just for kind of readability's sake. And, you know, it's a nice, cool piece of key art, but for this kind of, like, horizontal arrangement like this, I don't know, something about it just doesn't quite like work for me. But you know, if we make stuff larger and smaller, I mean, it's still plenty readable, which is the main thing. So you know, that's all fine. So. Cool. What was the last thing that I said to you, Chariot? I can't quite remember what came up. Was it just talking about the Downwell thumbnail and, you know, potentially sticking four things together? Wait on your response. It was mostly on the new Downwell thumb. Yeah. So, like I said, like, what you've got here, like, they're all fine. Like, you know how to use Photoshop. Well, you know how to use GIMP to kind of pull these elements together. So they all look really, you know, they're smashing. Like, they all work. They all look nice. But my branding as a whole is super sporadic. But I guess in your kind of thing, it's just like, you have all these different thumbnails, but they don't all immediately say this is a ChariotRider video. My only response to that would be, is that important to you that people know that your stuff is like specific? Like, why is it important that people know, like, before they click on a video that is a ChariotRider video to you? Like, because I think especially like as you're growing a channel and stuff like that, like the important thing is just to kind of like make the best video you can, and you know, make the best, you know, piece of promotional art that you can for your thumbnail, and then people will stick with you because they like the video that you made and they think, oh, you have kind of interesting taste and interesting ideas, I'm going to subscribe to you because I get the feeling that you're going to review a lot more stuff like this in the future. Which, you know, you've made 2 videos on roguelikes, so people are going to look at your stuff people will see these videos like out in the wild and they'll say, oh, maybe this guy likes roguelikes, so let's, you know, I'm going to subscribe to him and hopefully he's going to talk a lot more about this sort of stuff. So, like, you don't talk about roguelikes in the Night in the Woods videos, so, like, does that really matter that people don't know that it is a quote-unquote ChariotRider video? If anything, that might be a boon for it, is that, because somebody might go and say, well, yeah, it's just crazy important that people know that it isn't really crazy important that people know it's my video. I just care a lot more about making an appealing thumbnail, even if it isn't similar to the other thumbs that I have made. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, because, like, Night in the Woods one isn't about roguelikes, and if anything, by selling yourself as Mr. Roguelikes, like, somebody might look at that and go, well, what does a roguelike guy know about, you know, Night in the Woods? Is this really going to be the video for me? But because it is, like, you know, Night in the Woods, Bammo, front and center, main character, main logo, you know, you're styling it to look like that stuff, even people who don't know your stuff will look at that and go, oh, that's great. On the flip side, it might mean that, you know, people might want more kind of content like this from you, but obviously the idea is that as they watch the video, they'll get an idea of who you are and, you know, your kind of interests and stuff like that from your, you know, from the words that you're saying and the stuff that you're covering. So, no, I think personally, just look at making, you know, don't worry too much that people might immediately not know that they are quote-unquote ChariotRider thumb. Like, yeah, my brand as a whole is, I'm talking about roll. Yeah, like I said, I don't think it matters too much that there is no ChariotRider aesthetic. Like, I'll go to your channel now to, not ChariotRider, it's ChariotRider. I wanna look at his YouTube. I wanna go to his YouTube page. There we go. Like, yeah, all your stuff just kind of fits with whatever topic that you're talking about, which I think is absolutely fine. That is the way that you should go about doing it. And, you know, some of this stuff is it's quite simple. It can be improved, but like, I think you very much have the skills to do that. So, it's just a matter of, like I was saying to Cinnical, it's get to the basis of what am I talking about, like what is the thesis of my video, what's like the most important thing about it, and then like making that front and center, or just look for really cool images that work. Like defining roguelike, like you use an image from the original Rogue, like that, bammo, that is me defining what it is. I'm putting it front and center, and it is a really cool image. Like that is what is pulling you into this. Unite in the Woods one, again, it's like, bammo, cool image, pull you in. Hyperlight, that is a cool image, it pulls you in. And then with some of these stuff, oh, thank you very much, Digimat, for the follow. And so, yeah, with all of this stuff, it's just like, get to the core of what you want to talk about, look for nice images that kind of back that up, grab them from the game if you need to, and then just do whatever you can to like I quite like this one, and that's just purely an image that you've taken from the topic that you're talking about. You've added no text to it, like anything like that. And I know that this was the video that you made for I saw you post in the Discord just helping out. But thank you very much. Also, is that DSP laughing in the thumbnail? I've always wondered, but I guess I'll never know. Oh, good old DSP. And also bad old DSP because of the bad stuff he does. But I think you're on the right track with a lot of this stuff, Cherry. It's just like finding the best kind of image for, what you're talking about, the most evocative one, just to pull you in, and, making sure that the image gets like, like with this one, it's a cool image, but like it doesn't really say anything, on the subject of ludonarrative, like I'm sure Bioshock comes up. I'm surprised, don't just use a nice big old impactful image of that. Like the Mini Metro one I really like because it fits within the style of the Mini Metro stuff that you're talking about. But yeah, also I made that thumbnail by there. It looks like a Jacob Geller video because of it was a cool thumbnail, it was a cool image that you managed to find, and I just put some nice tall text over it. So there we go. But is there any questions that you got, Chariot? Is there anything I could anything more useful I could say? Like, is there anything you'd want me to cover, or are you quite happy with sort of where you are? Because like I said, I think you're doing all right. It's just just punching in a lot more on the stuff that you're talking about, and don't worry too much about the ChariotRider brand coming through, because at the end of the day, you just want people to I think you can most of it. Yeah. At the end of the day, you just want more people to look at your stuff. So thumbnail first is the important thing with that. And then maybe later down the line, like Game Maker's Toolkit or something. I think maybe my text is a bit plain, but I still think it works. Yeah, at the end of the day, readability is more important than, fanciness. But if you can nail both, then, like your escapism in gaming one's quite nice. That almost looks like it's from a magazine or something, which is really cool. Defining roguelikes, I really like. I just make the text bigger. Like, the IBM PC in Junior is more readable than defining roguelikes, which is what the video is actually about. So, there we go. And, like, the virtual space as well, and that's the one that I made, and, like, the text is 60% of that, it's more than half that image, so... Yeah, if you can find a way to marry the text and the logo and the image and stuff you're using together, that's what the money is. That's what people like. So, yeah. So with that, I guess I'll move on to somebody else. I am very aware, though, that my internet isn't doing very good at the moment. It seems to be... the Zectronics one is definitely a film I need to remake. Yeah... I mean, it's a cool, if anything, less text is what I would say about that. I would just maybe go with expressive problem solving, or, stream seems fine though, at least. Yeah, it seems okay for now. We've been having a couple of issues with it, Matt, like nearly on the hour, like, it just seems to cut out, and I've moved over to using my phone now for streaming, which isn't totally great, but... Yeah, no, it's been really bad for the past like past like fortnight. Like last time I streamed, it was fine, but like I've been playing Valheim like every evening for the past like week and a bit, and I've just been like dipping out of it really badly. So, um, yeah, not only that, but like literally somebody's got like BT Open World like next to their house, looking at the cabling. So I wonder whether they're farting around with the wires at the moment, so it might be like this for another couple of weeks, which is annoying, but hopefully not. Because I'm enjoying doing these thumbnail streams. You know, I'm hoping the people are getting important stuff out of them, and I feel like this one I'm doing a bit more Photoshop stuff, which is what I wanted to do last time, and probably what I will start doing a bit more of from the future is doing Photoshop like teaching stuff. So that'd be nice, but. Who's next, though? Who is next that we will be reviewing? Whitman's left elasticity on one of yeah, I know. He's left his he's left his magnets in there, and it's just farting around with the internet connection. There's a big old rat chewing on one of the cables, which ain't great. HeavyEyed responded, but the question is Mitch in the chat? Because if he's not, I'm gonna ping him. I'm gonna ping him, and I'm gonna ask him to. We'll see what happens with that. Big wagon wheel drop prop and everything. Yeah, exactly. He's just got his packed lunch in there, all the foxes and. Actually, no. So nearby me, we have like we got foxes and we got rats and all that sort of stuff, but we also get these like. They're like mini deer. It is the weirdest thing. I'll bring up a picture of them because like I hadn't seen them before moving to where I am, but they're all over like this part of the UK that I'm in. Look at them. Look at them. They got tiny deer. Like these boys are just outside my house like all the time. Like I'll stick my head out the window and you'll just be like eating grass and stuff like that. Oh, hello, I just woke up. Hello, Mitch. We're about to be reviewing your stuff, but first things first, we're talking about these small deer that live outside where I live. They're tiny, though. Tiny little deer. Barely, like, bigger than dogs, but... So, yeah, I remember talking to Virgin Media Rep about 40 Boats Neighbours' kids were taking part of a fun... Oh, Christ. Yeah, it's funny, like... Just internet connections is just the crappiest thing. Like, just bring 5G in. Just let me connect over my phone. Let's just do it all wirelessly. I don't care. Fair enough. Well, thanks for coming along, Chariot. Hope that some of my feedback was able to help you with your thumbnails and stuff, and I'll probably be running one of these again very soon. So we will catch you later. But yeah, Mitch, it's time to go through and time to have a look at your thumbos, mate. Which I've done the last two of those, so hopefully. Well, actually, no, not the last two. I think there was one in between it. But what is your channel name? HeavyEyed. Would you like me to review your channel's branding? Yes. Oh yeah, I better check my messages later. Post your links. Don't know why the ME came out a bit weird. That's just how I download FYT. I think I've already downloaded his stuff, but let's find out. Yeah, there they are. Chill videos about games and how we play them, the impact that they have on us and the world as a whole. What about your thumb/branding do you like? I think I can find an aesthetic and fit to it, even if that vibe changes. And what makes you uncertain about your thumbs or branding? My click-through rate, to be completely honest. Let's find out. No, I'm not the person to talk to about click-through rate. My click-through rate is not good, but that's down to the fact that my videos aren't great. It's funny zooming this in. I didn't realise that image has got a big old motion blur on it, which I guess is fine. I like the colours of it. It's just, I don't know, it's just a bit...
Yeah, baby!
Oh, who's following? Thank you very much, Hal. Much appreciated. Oh, by the way, Mitch, I finally got the audio. I finally got Yeah Baby working, so that's good. Oh, oops. I just kind of want to bring this text in a little bit, which, whatever. That's just me, I suppose. Levi coffee. Let's go scale. I mean, I kind of like this sort of blue into red thing that you got going on. It's quite nice. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe I would have just picked like a bit more of an exciting picture. Like, you gone with the songbird from all Bioshock Infinite. Bioshock Infinite songbird. Which I'm assuming like that's because like one of the things is we should improve how we talk about games like Bioshock Infinite, where people said it was great at the time, and then since then it's become very kind of, we've been a bit more critical about it since then. Well, it's not like this, a bit more of a exciting image. We'll flip it over so I'll do that. I found a picture of that thumbnail was impossible. Huh? Yeah, no, I imagine like a lot of this is just down to what you have to work with essentially, which sometimes you're not so lucky. Sometimes you have to jump into games and just grab stuff. I end up doing that like a lot of the time as well, which is it's not great, but and then with this we can do have it so Elizabeth's arm is clipping on top of the text, which is always a nice. People love it, folks. They love it when this happens. It's clipping her face, which is a bit rubbish. But like something like this, and maybe you want to stick a nice big glow on this guy's eyes, so it's catching all the attention and stuff like that. I've had to do that as well all week for Bloodborne for screen cap, and it's been a nightmare. Yeah, I can imagine. Like any non-PC game for like capturing footage is just such a pain in the butt to like get done, which unfortunately that's just kind of the nature of a lot of this stuff. Is you can't. You have to work with what you got. But yeah, I was actually half asleep when I filled out the form, so if my branding was my exciting, which I think is... I do wish my branding was my exciting, which is part of the click-through. I quite like your branding, though. Like, I like... Like, there's certain elements to the way that you do text and stuff, which, like, other people don't do with their own image. Like, I like the text and the square stuff. Like, this was what I was trying to recreate with... I'll pull up the stuff that I did for you, which... yeah, just do something like that. Yeah. He's not great, that gas guy, I'll tell you that much. Thumbos, there we go. Where you at? Heavy, where you at? There you go. So, like, this was the first one I did for you, and I wanted to match how you did your text and you did your... like that little kind of framing that you have around stuff like that. So purely just like in this case you just want those elements like interacting with as much stuff as you can. You want to is there not a better picture of Songbird in this game? I mean, it's not a very good game is the problem, but surely they must have a better picture of Songbird in here. Oh, of course, got a nice old cool picture of the guy with a gun on his back. That's what you want. But good old Georgie Washington right there. Guy on fire. Guy on fire looks quite exciting. Let's go with him. Let's see what he's up to. Oh, that's a nice big image as well. So that's pretty cool. And so, like with this, we could have it, go with a good old... Turn that to black, turn that to... Actually, no, yeah, make this into a solid colour, turn this off. Because I'll do it with layer effects. And so then if we stick a nice little stroke on him, pop it inside like that. Then, you know, you can do the old good old Jamesy stuff of this bit by ear, this bit by ear, this bit by ear. Maybe his pouch show as well. Mask it, bring it on top. Then, what was the name of the video again? How we talk about games, yeah. I can't remember what font you use, so I'm just gonna use the one that I got here at the moment. Hope you don't mind. I'll talk about games like that. Early going to the board, there's only one strained dog, sorry. Oh dear. Yeah, not very yeah, not very often, that's for sure. And so like with this then, you know, we could do that's what once you I mean it's just purely down to kind of experience though, that's the thing. Like if we were roosters, no, I don't want to rooster. Maybe I'll turn that into a smart object. Yeah, there we go. And then, like, you know, because with your usual stuff, you got that little. Oh, come on! What are you up to? There we go. Oh right, yeah, because it's all on this layer by here. You know, you got that kind of like little drop shadowy sort of thing that you got going. So, like, you know, we can do that. That's easy enough. Like so. Then make sure that we use the same style like that. So like, and then if we wanted to do, because you kind of have this cool sort of peachy bluish color aesthetic, if we wanted to do that with, you know, I think you already know about this, but we can use gradient maps to do that. So like, you know, kind of go with a sort of a more of a washed out looking blue color by here. Go up to kind of more of a peachish colour by here. Good, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to see some Welsh pride. Croeso I Cymru and stuff like that. I don't know enough Welsh, unfortunately. I know how to say Llanelli though, which is the most important thing. And I probably even fucked up how I've said Llanelli, so there we go. At least I don't say Llanelli, that's the main thing. So like with this, you know, we can, and you can fiddle around with how much, you know, you want certain things affected. Like, say this, you know, boiler man, we don't want him affected too much by the text. We can then like that, and then as a result, yeah, he's not so affected now, which is what you want. And you know, we can do, you know, pop some drop shad, we can pop a little bit of vignetting on it, a little bit of Maybe a nice little bright area. See where we got some stuff on the image, like kind of where his glows are and stuff like that. Change that into a bit of a soft lighty thing. And then yeah, if we scale that down, yeah, still plenty legible. That's the stuff. That's what you want. That's nice and readable. And again, this isn't too different to like what you've done. It's purely down to having, you know, just kind of go with a slightly more exciting image, and you know, the elements that you've already got to work with, just push them a little bit further. Because yeah, like yeah, exactly. You just got to give it a bit of. You just got to make it pop. You just got to give it a little bit of. Just got to add some hot sauce to it. That's it. Because like, you know, with the Tony Hawk one, that's fine. But you know, I like Tony's big old face to the side, like the Project 8 cover. I like this, but you know, even with this, we could probably just add a couple of things to it to make it pop. So he really does. He looks like he's like in Deus Ex or something, doesn't he? In fact, one thing that we can do, because people always love this. Oh my god, he's got red eyes, that Tony Hawk. People love it when you knock up the stuff on people's eyes. Make it a little bit less intense, of course, but looks a bit like a android now, but that's okay. But that's what people like. Young the Pratt. I can't believe that was blocked. The auto modding on this is ridiculous. I'm gonna have to have a look at it at some point. And then like, I mean, like you kind of got this cool orange color. You maybe use that as a, you know, part of a gradient map or something. So kind of purple's this kind of like dark color that you got going on at the moment, which is kind of a nice thing. Let me make a little swatch palette, and then we got this orange color. And then let's say we grab this bright yellow from the logo by here. And then if we put on a gradient map like that. Pop. 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 Like that. Which kind of helps blend, you know, these elements a little bit together a little bit more, which is kind of what you want. And then that will help the text pop, which I think is the main thing with this one. Actually, hold up. Then we can knock these elements up a little bit more now. So I can implement all this right now. Yeah, I mean, hopefully this will be recorded on VOD, so you'll be able to check this stuff out later. But yeah, like, this isn't much different to what you've already done. It's just kind of taking the elements that worked and just ramping them up a little bit. Like even a little what's it called one here. Just play around with the curves a little bit. Make the darks a little bit darker, make the whites a little bit whiter, and all that stuff. Actually, leveling might be a better idea than curves. Just have him peeking around like some kind of just ghoulish figure hanging around. That'd be pretty good. Oh yeah, with this, you just, you know, you get the text, you get the logo, you get, you know, it's what you need, really. Don't know where my levels are gone. Well, they could actually be, well, they could be haunted by the actual Tony Hawk, because most people don't seem to believe he even exists. Whenever they bring him up, they always go, you know, oh, you call Tony Hawk, like the skateboarder Tony Hawk, hardy ha. But it really is. Maybe the other thing that I would do, which, you know, if you were willing to go off brand a little bit, is like, so like kind of how we done the font. So let me, I'm going to quickly delete this, but just to kind of like make a point. So like, you know, we kind of got your font, how it works by here, but I'm going to drag it over, so it's going to be a bit easier. So this actually kind of works quite nicely anyways, like especially compared to how it looked before. But what I was thinking was, because you kind of have this text down here, we could try and make it look a little bit like that. Which would be nice. So create a little clipping mask, and then it's kind of got this yellow colour that it gradients into, like that. And then take the drop shadow off. Maybe take the distortion off as well, actually. Or even try and make it look like this kind of like chrome steel effect that they got going down here. Be quite nice. It's a bit brighter. You should use it to make a Sonic fan OC. That's absolutely, like, that's where I learned all this stuff, was from making Sonic fan OCs. Like, that's the pipeline for learning Photoshop, is making Sonic the Hedgehog OCs. So So like it kind of matches the metal kind of look of what we got at the bottom. Maybe if I stuck a little bit of stick a little glint or something by here, that'd be quite nice. Not quite obvious though is the only thing. I'd need to make this a little bit darker. Not quite legible is the only thing, but you kind of get the idea of what I'm going for here. Is like, you know, you could try and incorporate it a little bit into how this stuff work. You know, how, you know, try and make it look like the promotional material, try and make it look like the logo stuff, but also still work within the kind of the style of the stuff that you've already made. I mean, you could even, like, rather than using the Tony Hawk skateboarding logo, although again, maybe you did that just because obviously that's what you remember, but like that could be all, you know, super consistent as well. Like, you know, something like that, but better than that, basically. Um, but yeah, like I'll just go back to kind of some of the stuff you mentioned, which is, you know, my click-through rate, and I think purely like, I mean, your older stuff's gonna get views. I did a banner in MSP. I'm going to get some decent photo editing software now. I showed off a pretty good piece of editing software earlier, which, you know, isn't which is free to use. Like, I quite like this Far Cry one. Like, the only thing I would do is just move this stuff down. That's purely it, and, you know, move this a little bit from the edge. But that's purely it. I like this. Like, you know, stick a, you know, maybe stick like a kind of a gradient sun on it, but like, you know, the green with the pink and stuff like that, that's really nice. That's a nice little background image. Plenty readable, which is what you want. You know, you stick maybe a little vignette or something just to, I mean, you've kind of already got that anyways, which, you know, it seems to be absolutely fine. Yeah, in regards to your click-through rate, I think it'll just purely be down to, like, sort of what the text is that's used, maybe, like, I guess just, you know, wherever you can, like, this is a cool image that you found, this is a nice, like, exciting thing. Maybe if you, rather than kind of like a village scene, you could maybe use like something a bit more exciting, something a bit more explosive, but that's purely, but like obviously nothing that's going to take away from the text, but like that, like the problems with Far Cry, I mean, that's a video that people are going to click on because, yeah, you know, people have issues with Far Cry and they like watching stuff which is, you know, they want criticism of, you know, that sort of stuff, which, you know, this facilitates. How we talk about games, again, like, because of the subject matter, I think it's, you know, a really nice opportunity to find something a bit more exciting, a bit more explosive, that, you know, that may cover one of the topics that you're talking about versus, you know, what you kind of got at the moment, which doesn't really sell it, unfortunately. Yeah, finding background images is the hardest thing for me. Yeah, no, I you know, it's not easy. Like, I have issues finding stuff like that as well, and I think it's just kind of down to, just think of, like, whatever the games you're talking about or whatever you're talking about, just try and find the coolest shit from that. Like, or even like if you work like, because most of the time if I make a thumbnail for somebody and they'll say, oh, it's a game, it's this game, blah blah blah, and I go, okay, and I'll have a look online and I'll see like, you know, what are people clipping, what are people like getting shots of and stuff like that, and it's just like, oh yeah, no, this is really, you know, this is cool. You know, sometimes just hop into a game and grab just some nice screenshots or something like that. Usually always, you know, that's not a bad call either if you got the opportunity to do so. But yeah, because like with the Zelda one that I did it was, that was purely down to like, well, I mean, both of them were down to serendipity. Was like, you know, this was a bit of promotional art that they had done for the game, and like I didn't have to do a lot of editing on that. And then with this one, like this was a bit more in depth, but I think this one's way better. But that was absolutely like, that's an image that exists, and it didn't take a lot of editing to be like make it work. Yeah, like Eurothug and Jacob like will send me screenshots and stuff for like, oh, I want this particular image, and like I think I can pull up like an example of some that I did not too long ago. Did I remember to put that in one of the folders? Maybe I didn't. Can I sort this by the days? Maybe. Not in here. But like all of these are all like screenshots that are pulled from the games and stuff. Like this was some that he had pulled for you know, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and like he gave me a couple of different examples of this, and then from there that was how we were able to, you know, generate that, and that was purely from using, you know, the asset that he had given me, and then just a lot of editing just to make that work essentially. I've just noticed actually oh, that's the propeller. Oh, I thought that was like a little drop shadow or something. But yeah, any opportunity that you can get to just grab in-game screenshots just makes the work so like way easier. Like with Maria, like with the Death Stranding ones that I did her, she had like sent me like screen grabs that she had got from the game, and it was just a matter of like, you know, fiddling around with the contrast, fiddling around with the color, and then, you know, figuring out how to get the, you know, the text in there and stuff like that, and then like little, you know, jokes like, you know, shadows over the environment and, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, I guess okay, that would be my one useful bit of advice from this stream so far, is that if you have the opportunity to do so, yeah, grab screenshots from games, because like that is probably the best thing that you can do for like, especially if you have an idea in mind. And like most games are good enough that if you play through them once, they have chapter selects or ways to get back to like good moments. If not, you can always go on YouTube, and like if somebody has got 4K footage or 1080p footage of a game, you can grab it from there. I did that for one of Daniel Santos's videos actually. That's definitely in here, I would think. Daniel, are you here? Yeah, there you are. Huh. Okay, maybe it's not. Oh no, here it is. So like this was a video that he was doing about what's it called? DMC, and like I just grabbed this image from somebody's YouTube upload of it. So I think originally I think this was one I was going to draw, and I just decided, no, let's just go on a YouTube, make the biggest, like just expand the video as big as possible, screen grab it. I think I added a tiny bit of like surface blur to it to get rid of like pixelation and noise, and that's it. So yeah, but I would say other than that though, Mitch, like I mean you've been doing this longer than me. Like I've been watching your stuff for like years before I started making videos and started making thumbnails for people, so like you are on the right track. It's just, you know, it's like any opportunity you get to just kind of like push things, like maybe 2-3 steps further. Like, always take them, because, like, you know, as small as possible, you want an image to be like, bam, make it pop. Like, and well, where it makes sense, obviously. Like, if you're making a video about something a bit more serious, then, you know, you want to use something a bit, like, you want to use evocative imagery, but nothing that's going to be, like, totally out of whack. But, like, yeah, like, this is the only one that I have any kind of, like, that's the one I've been, like, nastiest about, I think. Because the other ones that you've done, I think they're absolutely fine. Like, your Tony Hawk one, I think, is pretty good. It's just, yeah, it's just, like, little places where you can sort of zhuzh it up a little bit. And then, I mean, there's nothing I would say about the Far Cry one apart from... Yeah, well, here's another thing, actually, if you didn't think about doing that, which is there's a really useful website called thumbsup.tv, which I'm going to paste and post in the chat. Just... if you have a thumbnail that you want to see, like, how it looks at a smaller size, so if I go into my thumbnails and then say, you know, and then you get an idea of how that looks, like, in different configurations. So, like, that's it on the home screen. Like, if somebody somebody hops onto YouTube, bammo, that's how they're going to see it. Then that's how it looks in the sidebar, which is where most people are going to see it. And, like, and watch later, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, it's really good because, like, you know, you can toggle between light and dark mode, so you see how that stuff, like, looks there. And then, you know, you can also see how, like, text looks. So, like, if your text is, like, really wordy, you could, like, say, oh, you know, let's make this a little bit smaller, like a better Zelda or something like that. And, you know, like, because usually what I do in Photoshop is just, yeah, I, like, scale stuff in, like, as small as possible to get an idea of how big it's going to look. And then, you know, sometimes I'll zoom in just to make sure that everything is, you know, looking okay and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a really handy tool. This isn't I want to say Zolty Boy showed it in another server, so props to him for pointing out the existence of this. But yeah, it's a really useful website. Like, I'd love to know whoever made it and just, like, follow them on Twitter or something, because they've made my job a lot easier. But standard.tv. Oh, that's part of Nebula. Ah, there we go. So there we go. They're putting that Jacob Geller money to good use, building a thumbnail website for me. Well, there we are. But yeah, it's cool. It's just, yeah, really useful. But yeah, I would say, like, of everybody that I've kind of looked at so far, like, you're the one who's the most figured out with all this stuff. Like, you know your branding, you know kind of your vibe and stuff like that. So yeah, it's cool. Like, I think purely just any opportunity you have just to kind of push stuff a little bit further, and if that's down to just learning Photoshop or just knowing a little bit more about the program, I mean, just sit in it and, you know, learn it and, you know, stuff like that, and eventually you'll just pick it up. So yeah, that's what I mean. There's, you know, there's the different ages of YouTube. There's, you know, Matthew Matosis, and then there was Eurothlug, Egoraptor and stuff like that. And then you had, well, no, even before all that, it was the AVGN, and then you had the Nostalgia Critic, and then you had Matthew Matosis, and they had Egoraptor, and then going forward, like, all the boys started to pop up. So, well, I'm glad to hear it, Mitch. Always happy to help you. Always happy to help out with different projects and stuff like that. So that's all good. We have one, two, three. We have 3 more people to go through, but it is now 20 past 10. I have been streaming since 8 o'clock. I think I'd be happy splitting this again and then doing the last three maybe on a different stream. I don't know if those three are even, because the three to go through are Chris, Zach, and Video Game Storytime. I don't know if they're in the chat. If they are, say hello or something like that. I'm happy to go through it today, but I think I might be a bit more on it a different time, because I'm looking at myself in the window. I am looking tired as fuck. Yeah, exactly. I don't. Let's let's keep the good times rolling. Because oh yeah, Mitch, you weren't here for the beginning, so you don't know about my my really exciting idea, which is that so once these thumbnail, well, not when they're done, but essentially, like, my idea is that to kind of like roll these thumbnail streams into doing Photoshop lessons. And the idea that I have for it is that, like, I've created a bunch of like fake YouTubers who have all. No, your ping won't be up. Haha. I've created a bunch of like fake YouTubers who are like come to me and ask for different video ideas, and essentially like name of the channel, video title, thesis. And so I've got 5 of those at the moment, and basically like the idea is I could bring it. I can teasing for the boys if they want. We can have a look and see what we got. Nevin was here actually early on, and he was saying that he could help out with making a bot for generating ideas, so that'd be quite good. Are they all Minecraft's Let's Plays? No, they're not. I could add one though. I could create a person who is into Minecraft who I can make thumbnails for. But that being said, the fucking Minecraft guys, they don't need my help. They're raking in 100 million views a video and all they usually do is just take a screenshot of their cube man just standing in front of, like, I built the castle from I built Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings in Minecraft. Here's my video. Or like, Minecraft Hunger Games. The main JPEG points. That is very true. I do love a meme. I do love making a meme thumbnail, so maybe I will. But who we got? So we got the game mechanic. He does videos on game design and mechanics. He's making a video called Why Water Levels Suck. The thesis is an exploration of water levels in games, evaluating what all the bad ones have in common and what the best ones do right. Then we have a client called Left D-Pad, and their videos combine game evaluation and leftist theory. And their video is called Papers, Please and Propaganda Games. And the thesis is Papers, Please is an unflattering look at what life was like in Russia during the Cold War. And this video is a rebuttal of that and other games supposedly set in this time period by US devs. Then we got Character Design School, evaluating character designs. Why Tracer is a modern day classic. In a sea of generic protagonists, Overwatch's The Tracer stands out as a unique and memorable design. This video explains why by breaking down their design, proportions, color, and theory and animation. And then the next line we got is called The Rant Rat, and he does media analysis with a cartoon avatar, which looks like it looks like this. Did I save? Oh, that's what the game mechanics logo looks like. It's the dice in a spanner. Isn't that clever? And then this is what the Rant Rat looks like. The Rant Rat, he stands in the corner of videos and he rants about stuff. And he's doing a video called Can the Simpsons Be Good Again? Thesis. The Simpsons was originally modelled after sitcoms of the time. 30 years later, past the cultural significance of these shows, it has become the sitcom. How can it be made fresh again? And then the final one is Lewis Reviewers, who does personality-driven media analysis. And his video is called How the Lego Movie Makes You Feel Something. And by mixing realistic visuals with realistic emotion, the Lego Movie defies being just a piece of Lego merchandise by getting to the heart of why people love the toy. So these are people who have commissioned me to make them fun. These are people who have commissioned me to make them thumbnails. So during these Photoshop streams, I will be going through like idea generation and finding images and stuff like that, and how does James D make a thumbnail? How do we start from here? So yeah, so I think next time I will do a short thumbnail stream, kind of piggybacking off of this one, and then I will be going into this Photoshop stream where you'll be meeting all these exciting characters like the game mechanic and the rant rats and left d-pad and Lewis reviewers. But there we go. So yeah, I think with that I think that will be the stream for tonight. The people who are still here, is there anything I'm happy to cover anything before I head on. Before I wrap on up, but yeah, I think if I wasn't having so many internet issues tonight as well, that might have. I think that took a lot of steam out of this as well. So hopefully, I'm gonna have a quick look at. I might see if there's any way that I can kind of like maybe improve my connection and stuff before I do the next one. But other than that, oh, thank you very much, Mitch. I may do this not next weekend, but I may do this either next Thursday or Friday because I will be off for Easter. Well, I mean, the upcoming Friday is Good Friday, so potentially I may do a stream Thursday night, but obviously that'll be down to. Thanks for the streams. Take care. Well, thank you very much, everybody, and well, I'll be doing another one soon because we have 3 more people still to go through. And then obviously we'll be moving on to the Photoshop streams with these cool characters. So thanks very much, guys. Thank you for coming along, and until I guess I will see you all in the next stream.